Hey, Upper Cervical family, Dr. Tedder here. Friday afternoon, I'm literally about to leave the house and go to practice for my son's baseball. As you guys know, I'm one of the coaches on my son's baseball team, but I wanted to send a video this week to continue some of the cool information I've been sharing with you about chiropractic and some of its history and some of its past. And so as we talked last video, we talked about this guy named Bjpalmer, who was the developer and discoverer of chiropractic. He's the one who really put his neck on the line, no pun intended. BJ was the one who was responsible for pioneering chiropractic from an idea and doing the necessary work as far as research, legislation, laws, creating laws to create chiropractic as a primary healthcare around the world. So BJ, before the early 30s was the chiropractic was not really a law. It wasn't really a healthcare. It was just kind of like a thing you could go do. Well, to become legit, if you will, to become the healthcare powerhouse that it's become, BJ had to fight. He had to have the best of the best. He had to find the best lawyers. He had to find the best doctors. He had to find the best schools around the world that he could conduct research and create laws and then go before the whoever and create a licensing board. And he did that. And so today I want to share with you one of my favorite books. This is called Chiropractic Clinical Controlled Research. This was a book that BJ wrote back in the 50s. I'm sorry, in the 30s, not the 50s. He wrote it back in the 30s. This is a synopsis of years and years and years of chiropractic research done in Bjpalmer's research clinic back in the 30s. Now, I want to share this with you because it's kind of interesting. BJ created a multi-million-dollar clinic in the 30s. And if you guys can remember what happened in the 30s, the Great Depression. So how could a no-name chiropractor that nobody's ever heard of, you guys have never heard of him, the world's never heard of him, financially able to build a multi-million-dollar clinic in the 30s that today would probably be in the hundreds of millions of dollars worth of equipment and facilities and staff. But BJ did that in the 30s because he had money. How do you have money? He owned the first radio station west of the Mississippi. He was a radio station guy. He made millions and millions back in the day owning a radio station called WOC. And to be honest with you, his number one radio host was President Ronald Reagan. So BJ created this medical facility to do research. He wanted to conduct research on chiropractic care and its effectiveness. And this book obviously doesn't have everything in it, but this book is a synopsis of the findings that he did. And what I love about this book is in the years of research, to go into the clinic of Bjpalmer, you had to have a medical condition and you had to be referred by a medical doctor. And when you went into his clinic, you got two workups. You got a chiropractic workup and you got a medical team. They did blood analysis, x-ray. They did all the medical findings you could do at that time, more than what they do nowadays, besides some of the advanced equipment as far as MRI. But BJ literally did a workup on them chiropractically and medically. He had all the data that you could do at the time in medicine. Here's the difference though. They had zero medical care. Zero. They actually had only chiropractic care. More specifically, they only had upper cervical specific care. They only got care at the Atlas axis, nowhere else. They didn't even do low back. They didn't do mid back. They just upper cervical only. And they would take these sick of patients. Literally, people are dying in the waiting room. People are dying trying to get to the clinic, and they would die during trials. But what was really so he was really, my point there is he was seeing the sickest of the sickest. But the reality is that research clinic found some astounding things. Not only did it outperform medicine at the time, so if you look in the back of BJ's book that I just showed you, they have over 5,000 cases recorded of cancer, diabetes, pain, all MS, Parkinson's, seizures. They had every condition you could think of the worst at the time. And BJ's upper cervical care outperformed medical care by almost 95%. Crazy. Not only that, they were getting people at the time off of procedures, medications, and even some of the crazy medicines they were using, some morphines and cocaine and crazy things that they were using back then, that BJ's clinic was getting them out of that. He was getting sick people well. The same adjusting procedures we're doing with you guys today. So that led to my last video when I was telling you Dr. BJ saw presidents, he saw Saudi princes, he saw he saw the kings and queens of Europe at the time, Charles, all those guys. People were flying from around the world to see BJ because they were trying to figure out how to get well. Dr. Mayo, the originator of the Mayo Clinic, got the idea of the Mayo Clinic because BJ got his wife well when the Mayo doctors could not. They would fly her in to see Dr. BJ. He would do upper cervical care, and she got well. And he had BJ sign a legal document that he would not share that with the people of his time. He did not want to be embarrassed because Dr. Mayo was the elite doctor of the country. Goes to show you how crazy it still hasn't changed. But I wanted to share that with you because BJ really went to jail. He fought in the courts of law. He did the research so that I could do what I do for a living. So for the chiropractors around the country to do what they do for a living. And not only that, the research is amazing of how he got the sickest of the sickest well in a time when it was crucial. There wasn't a lot of chiropractic around, and even the chiropractic that was around was not really systematized. So that was another thing that the research clinic did, is it was taking all these crazy things that were out in chiropractic and it systematized everything. And BJ found that the upper cervical spine, the upper cervical care done with the right scans, right x-rays, adjusting people at the right time, got the greatest result over any chiropractic technique out there. Now, are there ways that people can feel better? Absolutely. Can certain pops and cracks and things feel better? Yes. But it has nothing to do with getting you well. And so I wanted to share that with you because I like to read this book on a regular basis, because since BJ's clinic, we have not had that type of research done in our profession, only because we don't get the money. The NIH, who supplies money to research, has given chiropractic only about $10 million since the 30s. 10 million. You can't do anything with $10 million in research this day and age. To give you an idea, medical schools alone do over $100 billion a year in research. So, and then the NIH gives them several $billion a year in research. So it's been hard to compare ourselves to medicine with the research and the data out there because we just don't get the funding. So our hats off to BJ for taking his millions and millions of dollars back in the day and sacrificing that for research so that you can get well, so that you can experience upper cervical care. And I just wanted to share that little tidbit with you. And that research is what solidified the validity of how powerful your body is and how powerful the brainstem is. And when it's taken care of the correct way, your body can heal from some pretty darn amazing things. And I just wanted to share that with you. It's one of my favorites. So I hope you guys have a great Friday night. I hope you have a great weekend. Can't wait to see you back in the office. And by the way, don't forget, next week, we got 3 or 4 days left of the 18-18-18-95 promotion we're doing for Chiropractic's birthday. Chiropractic is turning 127 on the 18th. So what we're doing is the first 18 referrals, which I think we're filled up at this point, by the 18th of September, is the new patient exam and x-rays only $18.95. And in honor of BJ and his research, we are donating all of that money, everything, back to the Oklahavens Children's Hospital, which is an upper cervical nonprofit in Oklahoma that takes care of sick patients and kids that can't afford care elsewhere. So we're supporting that. So I appreciate you guys' grace and abundance and gratitude towards that. And if we get 18, which I think we're there, and you guys still have people, let's go ahead and get them. Let's just go ahead and bless the community and get sick people well. So we love you, appreciate you. We'll see you next week.